Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Forensic Science India. Today again I am here with the topic fingerprint and I will be discussing this topic in some more details. So let's get started. So today's topic of discussion are fingerprint classification system. In this we will be seeing all the classification system related to fingerprint and other than that we will be seeing type of prints, then latent fingerprint and development of latent fingerprint, as latent fingerprint are mostly found in the scene of crime. So now fingerprint classification system. In fingerprint classification system, we will be having primary classification system, major division, secondary classification system, secondary system, final and key. So we will be seeing them one by one. So let's see. Primary classification system. Here we consider all the 10 digits of our hand. In this case, we will be considering all the 10 digits of our hand and the pattern present on them are taken into consideration. In case of major division, here we consider only right and left thumb. In case of secondary classification, here we consider right and left index finger. In case of subsecondary classification, here we consider index, middle and ring finger of both the hands. In case of second subsecondary classification, here we consider middle and ring finger of both the hands. In case of final classification, here we consider right little and left little finger of both the hands. In case of key, here we consider only right thumb. So now we will be seeing types of print. There are three basic types of print which are found at scene of crime. These are visible print, plastic print and latent prints. So we will be seeing them one by one. In case of visible print, as the name suggests, these prints are easily visible if they are present on the scene of crime, as these are those prints which are found on any surface of contact by the contact of finger contaminated with some colored material. So if our fingertips get stained with some color material and they get imprinted on some surfaces, they can be easily visible and they don't need to be developed. The example of this kind of prints are blood prints. In case of plastic print, these are those prints which are found on surface formed by contact of fingers. The surfaces can be plastic or smooth surface. So example, print on any greasy surface or wet soap. It is also known as 3D print. So plastic prints are mostly known as 3D prints as they got imprint on a 3D kind of material. So it can be a wet soap, a kind of an wet area where these prints get imprinted and they can be easily classified or identified. So in case of latent prints, these are those impressions which are not readily visible by the naked eyes, and such impressions are caused by the sweat secreted by the sweat glands found in abundance in the palmar region of the hands. So these are the most readily visible, these are the most founded kind of prints present on the scene of crime. Means these are the most occurred kind of prints. These are mostly found on the scene of crime, and as the name suggests, latent means hidden. So these prints are hidden and so they need a kind of development equipments or materials so they can be visible to the naked eyes. And these impressions are caused by the sweat secreted by the sweat glands. So just because of sweat glands, they got imprinted on the surface, though they are not visible. But if we use some development materials like some powders or chemicals, so they get easily visible. So we will be discussing this latent print in detail, as the above both the two prints can be easily visible and they don't need any kind of development process. But this latent print need the development process to be carried out. So first of all, we will see some images showing types of prints. So the first one, here you can see this is a colored print or visible print, and it is a blood print. So as you can see, these prints can be easily visible. We does not need any kind of development for any kind of material to develop them. In case of second image, here you can see the fingerprint is present on some wet 3D surface, and here again we can easily classify or identify that it is a loop kind of structure present on this fingerprint and it does not need any kind of development process. And in the third picture, as you can see, fingerprint expert is using a fingerprint brush to develop the prints, and so these prints are hidden prints or latent prints and they are getting visible with the help of this fingerprint powders, so they make them easily visible. So these are the three type of prints which we have discussed earlier. Now, latent fingerprints. They are often found at the scene of crime. It means they are mostly found at the scene of crime. Human perspiration contains water along with volatile fatty acids, protein, urea, chlorides, amino acids, etc. So these are the components that are present in our fingerprint, and these components help us to develop the fingerprint with the help of various methods. So the visibility of latent impression depend on certain circumstances and condition. So here we will be seeing the different circumstances and condition that helps in the visibility of latent impression. So the first one is the physical condition of the skin. So our physical condition of the skin play a very crucial role for the visibility of latent impression. The second is the surface of contact. What kind of surface is our skin is getting in contact with. The third one is the angle of reflection of light used for searching the fingerprint. So if we are searching a fingerprint on a scene of crime, so we must use a correct angle of reflection of light so that the fingerprint get easily visible to us. And the fourth one is the time, the temperature and the environmental condition. Time, because if we take too long, we take so much time to develop the fingerprint, it will be getting deteriorated because of the temperature. If the temperature is getting rise or humid kind of temperature, it will deteriorate or destroy the fingerprint present on the scene of crime. And other than that, the environmental condition also play a very crucial role, as if at the scene of crime, if rain occur or a very humid kind of condition occur or something like that, environmental condition that will interrupt the fingerprint present on the scene of crime. So these four conditions or circumstances play a very important role for the visibility of latent impression. Now, development of latent fingerprints. Now, how can we develop the latent fingerprints? We will be seeing it here. So locating a visible finger mark or plastic print at the scene of crime usually presents little difficulty because these prints are readily visible by the naked eyes, but locating the latent impression is quite difficult task, and utilization of certain techniques are required so as to render the visibility. So I have discussed earlier that the visible and print and the plastic prints, they are very much visible if they are present at the scene of crime, because they don't need any kind of developing agent to develop them. They are very easily visible to the naked eyes. But in case of latent impression, it is very difficult task to locate them and to develop the print to render the visibility. So the type of method to be employed will again depend on the type of surface on which development procedure has to be carried on. So the development procedure very much depend upon the type of surfaces, whether the surface is a porous surface or a non-porous surface. It will play a very crucial role in the development of fingerprint, because the technique used on the non-porous surface will not be taken into consideration on the porous surface. Or if the technique used on porous surface will not be taken in consideration for the non-porous surface. So these surfaces play a very crucial role. Other than that, generally for non-observant surface such as glass, polished tables, tops, doorknobs, etc. means generally surfaces like glass or polished table surfaces, these are non-porous surfaces. So here we cannot use any chemical technique to develop the fingerprint. Here we will have to use some dry kind of technique like a powder method or something like that to develop the fingerprint. I will discuss these techniques in my upcoming videos. So the powder or chemical techniques can be employed, but before development of these latent impression, the print has to be located with the help of alternate light source put at an oblique angle. So first and foremost thing is, if we get into some scene of crime, the first and foremost thing that will be done must be to locate the hidden fingerprint with the help of some oblique light or alternate light sources. So first of all, we will have to find out where the fingerprint is present. So after locating the fingerprint, the second foremost thing is to identify the surface, whether the surface is non-porous surface or a porous surface. If non-porous surface, then we will be taking powder method into consideration, and if the surface is porous surface, then we will be taking chemical method into consideration. So it depends on this. And then after locating the surface, then we will be using these techniques for development of the fingerprint. And photography is also a very important thing to be taken into consideration on the scene of crime. So this is all for today. The techniques for the development of fingerprint, that is powder method or chemical method or other several techniques, I will be discussing in my upcoming videos along with some case studies on fingerprint. So if you like the video, please do subscribe to our channel and also share this video with your friends, and please get updated. Thank you so much for watching the video.